Hello! Welcome back
Hello.
to the anime.
We're doing the animes. We're learning all about Mio and Shion's relationship and Dilly of a Pickle. Again, is it the same heckin' phone booth? My goodness.
Why would they draw more than one phone booth, Ben?
It'd be impossible. Well, it'd still be like a separate, scene to draw. So, maybe it's a different phone booth. I don't know. Someone check the colors of that phone. See if they're all yellow. What's his number?
We never get to find out.
We're going to learn his number? I want to call Satoshi.
No, you don't.
I want to call Satoshi
You
and
just
tell him,
end up depressed and miserable.
but I want to say hi to him. I want to let him know that I'm doing okay and that he should be too.
That's fair.
There you go. Look, I just want to check in on the boy.
Well, sure is the same OP as last week.
This is a problem. I feel like I don't know. I feel like when I normally watch shows like this, I normally just skip the OPs after the first time.
Yeah, but because of the way we're recording this, we can't really.
Yeah. I know. Do you have anything else to comment on since last week? We're going to get some punishment on Shion this week.
I don't know.
Exciting.
I thought that what we saw last week was really strong in that I was debating on the Discord how strong the anime is just because people doing the typical argument of they cut this and cut that, and I'm like, but that worked.
I think you were talking about the Tatari ending.
Yeah, the Tatari Higurashi ending.
Yeah. I think it was fine. I actually think that of the cuts, I think the Tatari ending is the least egregious. Just in terms of how it does it makes sense to just have it from the outside perspective.
If you consider it as a if you consider Tatari Higurashi as a whole,
yes,
and you cut Keiichi's perspective of it, cutting the end makes sense.
Yes, for sure.
If you consider just that scene on its own, it's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
I think I might have phrased that wrong, but the point being,
I get you. Well,
the point being that ending works because we don't have Keiichi's perspective.
It works in the context of the anime and how we're not following it from a first-person perspective. The scene on its own is pretty whatever.
So, I remember bullying this show earlier for how it was just doing everyone doing seductive poses while they're talking on the phone. That has kind of come back around in this shot right here where Shion is sitting bolt upright in a chair. The visual contrast there kind of works. Works because we've had that stupid pose earlier, but I don't necessarily think that was intentional.
I think that they could have achieved the same effect by having a lazy pose as opposed to a seductive pose.
I completely agree.
The bolt upright pose is good because it shows that she's taking this seriously, which she normally doesn't. Rubbing the foot, there's a poorly drawn foot. Oh, goodness.
Oh, that's meant to be a foot. I thought it was a flipper.
I know.
I thought Shion was a seal. I love it. I love it when cartoons use rubber gloves for the sound of people's hands closing. It does not feel weighty at all, this particular moment here.
Yeah, it's not as built up to. I think it's the tips don't help. And I mean, we didn't even have the scene in the park.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did think of that because there's no tips we're not in Shion's head because there's no monologue, but we're also not getting those extraneous scenes where we see the home life of Satoshi and Sadako. I feel like one or the other would have helped significantly.
Yeah, just stop being sad, you idiot.
Stop being depressed. That's how that works.
Hashtag solved.
Hashtag relatable. You should be happy. I'm going to tell you really ominous things.
It's fine, Sadako. Your brother's murdering the cruel one. You don't have anything to worry about.
Your brother's murdering your aunt. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be daijoubu.
Wait, was that thing about the closet in the middle of fucking nowhere in the VN? That didn't catch me.
It was in a junk pile, I think, in the VN.
Right.
It wasn't in the forest. It's time for the curse to occur. We're being very vague about everything.
See, look, it's red-only lights. The kind that fool amateurs like me.
Amateur detectives, yeah. Yeah, here we go.
Why does Uishi always come with an other guy aside from Kuma?
I don't know.
Who is this other guy?
It's just some other guy. It's Kuma number 2.
Oh, fuck. The cloning machine in the anime went awry and cloned the wrong person.
Kuma's in charge now. He's like the puppeteer working in the shadows.
Alibi is an interesting choice of word to throw in the middle of a sentence to which you would otherwise know nothing.
Yeah.
Sonozaki Mion-san?
There it is.
Thank goodness he used her full name.
Well, you had to. That's how you make those scenes super dramatic. You're like, yes, Mion, who I know who you are. Poor Shion.
I thought that was cutting over to me on watching Shion.
They're both wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Which one is which? Switch them back and forth. You can't even tell.
No matter what they say, Satoshi, fucking use the right alibi. Oh my god, his head.
He broke his neck.
Of course not. He wouldn't get angry. He'd just kill you and think that it was well reasoned.
Yeah, just be like, it was me. I was the one who threw your sister around and did none of the nice things. I'm the awful one.
Whoa! Where did Irie go? I guess they didn't have the animation budget for his goose.
It's true.
Man, remember that time that we introduced that they're a Yakuza family?
Have they really? They must have mentioned that back in Meakashi once at least. They mentioned that a couple times. But
in vague terms.
Not in this arc, and not concretely enough. It's fine.
I mean, we had the torture dungeon, so it's obviously a thing.
Yeah, yeah. At least we had that much foreshadowed properly. Mother.
Who's the guy in the back left?
The left? The blue guy?
Yeah.
I have no clue. I don't know who that blue guy is. Who is blue guy? Let us know in the
He's just
comments.
some dude on the streets. They're like, we need to balance the color palette of this torture scene.
We need some random guy. Yeah, perfect.
Damn, that soundtrack.
Unts, 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 unts. Time for a rave. Time for the punishment rave. Here we go. Everybody put your hands in the air. Mion whips out glow sticks from her, formal garb. Rave Granny, activate.
There's something so undignified about Oreo just standing there, as though she's a fucking NPC on pause.
Yeah, she needs a throne or something. I don't know. Did you know that Takano didn't even have Sprite back in Onikakushi when it was first released? It wasn't until Nagashi was released that Ryukishi was like, all right, let's update the first game and give Takano a Sprite.
But
That's
then
fun.
why hasn't he updated the game with the other characters that he added in?
I don't know. Who knows, dude? Maybe they're just only.
It's almost like
slightly less
she's
important.
evil and necessary to the story.
Who knows, dude? Who knows what her point is? Mion, no. Or Shion, no. Whichever one it is. 3 people.
That's
Nailed
right.
it.
3
Yeah.
people.
Nailed it.
That's a good pun.
Thank you.
It's a good pun.
It was so good I made it twice. Cut the first time. Don't look.
Why?
Don't look. It's gross.
Why wouldn't I look?
It's gross.
It's just an anime.
She took off her nail.
That was
It's
a clean
gross.
tear.
That was a very good tear. I'm sure all the other ones will be just as clean.
We thank you, Miss fucking insightful commentary.
Look, it's terrifying.
Don't do me that angle, you fucking
We gotta look at her
monstrosity.
butt. Her butt is the most important part of the scene. Her butt is
fuck
very
off.
important. Look, remember when you've just gone out of a torture chamber, the first thing you want to do is check your butt. Make sure your butt's okay.
If it had at least finished the camera motion, but
Onto
no,
the head?
it
No.
hung there.
No, it was side of the legs, move
now
onto the
you
butt.
show up.
It's Irie!
Didn't even have the dignity to bring the goose. Oh my goodness, is this an internal monologue to shorten a scene?
Yeah.
That's not how internal monologue is supposed to be used. Internal monologue is supposed to drag a scene out.
Forever. It hurts. Such a profound statement to end on. And then the blood pours.
That
out
was
from the
a,
fingers.
Odd episode.
That's fine.
I didn't think it was particularly strong, but also actually of all the scenes to have a visual from the VN, that's a particularly good one to have
The torture
a visual
scene?
for. Yeah.
The torture scene, I think, it's a lot more intense in the anime, which is cool.
Yeah, one of the things that we discussed about the pacing in the VN version of the scene is that, not only do we get stuck inside Shion's head and it kind of sacrifices the more interesting part of the scene, which is what this portrayed, the building intensity, you feel like you're actually getting there and it's ramping up in pace as we get to the actual torture.
Sure.
Obviously it was missing a few things, particularly some of the detail in their discussion was missing. But I don't know. I thought that was good. I thought that was strong. It was intense.
Yeah.
Definitely could have been better. Could have met it in the middle with the VN, I thought.
I mean,
As with many things
I
in the
would have
series.
liked as a medium between the two. I would have liked to have seen between the nail hittings. I would have liked to have had a slowed down moment, her arms sailing through the air. And it's this is for Satoshi, and this is why I care about him. And da, 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 da. I think that throwing something in, maybe she's trying to build herself up to actually carry out the torture, would have been good.
Yeah, I think that it kept trying to build the pace after the first nail tear, whereas
It wasn't really there.
Once you've had that build up and then the punch
Sure.
of the first nail coming off, I think it would be stronger to let it sit back and you're like, oh,
Sure.
it's over. Oh, wait, no. Here comes the second one, 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 and so on and so forth.
Sure.
Anyway, let's go. What are we up to? We're up to episode 18 now.
Something like that.
Yikes.
We're getting there. We're getting to the end of Meakashi.
I was quite sure that Satoshi-kun was the suspect.
You're really good at this commentating thing, Felix. I love working with you. It's beautiful. Your capacity to read the English language astounds me.
Oh, I know. We didn't have that whole discussion about the more interesting bit and going with Uishi, which I think is a shame because that was a particularly strong part of Uishi's character.
Which bit? Which bit was this?
When Uishi and Irie meet and they're like, oh, it's all right, you can come with me. And Uishi's like, well, actually, you can come with me and leave anytime if it's not interesting enough.
Yeah.
Like
the rivalry, so to speak, between Irie and Uishi is like friendly rivalry. It's like not nearly as present in the anime.
Well, I mean, neither of them is anywhere near a character in the anime, honestly.
No, they're set pieces.
Like, I think that
best.
the consistency is valuable to some extent in the cohesion of the anime, but I would prefer the lack of cohesion if it would give us
a bit more character,
a bit
right?
more character.
Like, I mean, the focus is so much more on the kids. What focus?
Yeah, because I mean, one of the things that Ryukashi's always obviously been strongest at is inter-character dynamic, and if you're cutting two of the most dynamic characters, what are you doing?
I don't know. Yeah, it is a bit strange. It's also like I talked about this in the show a couple of times. Seeing how the kids like react or interact with the adults is always interesting. Seeing the like power balance shifts. That's why I love Uishi's relationship with any of the given protagonists. Seeing how he can manipulate their expectations and how he needs things from them that he can't get from anyone else, and see how that kind of works.
Yeah.
That like abuse of his relationship effectively. I really enjoy seeing that. Is it Takano time?
I hope so.
I hope so. Oh, Takano!
Oh my!
Oh, I love you, girl. That was great. She was like, "Who the fuck are you? What are you doing here?"
Holy crap!
Speaking of adult characters, she's about to get RR'd. It's happening.
What the fuck?
I love that. Takano is great.
Who is doing the sound design for this episode? Like, get a raise and then fired. Please. Dude, she just full-on moonwalked over there.
Takano is a woman of many talents. Moonwalking is but one of them, so they do exist.
Why would they not exist?
Because I don't remember them. I remembered Sumohoroboshi as being the first time they were brought up.
Oh, I thought you were saying earlier that they just didn't have them in the anime. I was like, what the fuck?
No, they're definitely in Sumohoroboshi.
How could you possibly get away with that?
They're a huge plot point in Sumohoroboshi, but I wasn't even sure if they were in Meakashi at all.
I love how there's like no detail to the rest of the shot, and then the nails are
nails are like the most intense thing.
Like, obviously that was the right thing to do from a compositional point of view, but it just sticks out like a pun intended sore thumb.
Because exactly, because like the budget has to go to these very focused shots, everything else barely matters. It's she's gone full yandere. You know what they say, you never go full yandere. Oh, she's come back. It's all good.
Man, remember that time that we cut a year into the future and I completely missed it? Oh, we're doing this version.
We're going to slapstick our way out of it. Tamano Nakamura-kun! And then they won. They kicked him away. They didn't have to talk about maids or school outfits or anything.
On the one hand, I'm grateful. On the other hand,
it is such a huge
what's
moment,
the point
though.
of the scene?
Yeah. Like, it's such a huge shift in tone when Keiichi shows up in this scene. He, like, blows the entire rest of the arc, like, completely away.
Yeah.
Because everything's been so dramatic and focused and, like, it all makes sense. And then Keiichi is just a fucking ball of chaos. We do not get that same effect in the anime, which is a bit sad.
Who is this again?
Who's who? What?
Who are they talking about?
Okay. Satoshi, I think.
Oh, right.
Talk about Satoshi.
Sorry.
Satoshi-chan.
I tend to forget things when they haven't been restated, like, for the past 5 minutes.
Look, it's important. It's important that we restate everything.
Yeah.
So we make 100% certain that the audience is on point. Also, it means we can just cut these scenes around without having to worry about what order they're in.
Here we go. Here's the sad scene where we gear back up to intensity, and it doesn't make any fucking sense without a monologue.
The pacing doesn't work at all, no. It's fine.
Man, we really need to find something else to complain about. We've run out of talking points.
We've run out of legitimate criticism. How about that 4?
It needs a monologue.
Does it have 3 points of 4? Okay, it's 3.
It needs a monologue. It needs better animation. It needs to slow down. What else?
Well, I mean, they're fighting Renna. So that's a thing. Renna's great. We need more Renna. Come on, guys. Oh, monologue.
Holy shit.
There's so many monologues in this arc, like compared to the other ones. It's not nearly enough. But they do it. It's like the thing is, it's only like 2 lines at a time, but they exist. They're there. They exist. They definitely exist.
You can't help it because he's a boy.
It's true.
That's some insightful philosophy right there.
Dude, that's words to live by. You can't help it because he's a boy.
Oh no. How could he do the thing that we haven't established at all?
Oh my god, you're right. Are they gonna foreshadow it? Are they gonna post-shadow that shit? Is that what's about to happen?
No. They did show it earlier, but
okay, good. I honestly was afraid they just had not done it.
we also didn't really have long enough, I think, in the move to a year in the future to establish that she'd kind of gotten over it a bit. Like, it was still kind of ambiguous as to whether she had in the VN as well, but I think that it still set it up a bit better.
No, for sure. I mean, it doesn't seem like she's gotten over him at all because we've had 0 time.
Was that the fucking footsteps? Did that just actually happen in my anime?
Yeah.
It would have been fucking dead-ass hilarious if the footsteps had just stepped in the water. Nothing quite like the creepy synth line in the background the moment Takano appears on screen. I've been looking every fucking day for this whole year.
I've been living in there, you know. I have a little shelter. Ooh. I do like some of the sound design, like the creaking and the stepping and the like. I don't know. I like it. It's like very atmospheric.
One of the kind of fun things with like cartoon sound design is that you can get away with the sound effects being worse because it suits the image.
Sure.
The sound design in this show is very strong in terms of its application, but the actual like sounds are still pretty fucking cartoony, which is totally fine.
Accurate, but they don't need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think that like the balance of like when they're using it, when they're not, could be a bit better because it does get like very sparse at times. I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't sound like a kid jumping up and down on floorboards. I don't know where they get that idea.
Yeah, dude.
Sounds more like a sound guy with a fucking wooden board tapping it in front of a microphone.
A little mallet.
Let's
I believe.
fucking kill some people.
Yay, murder time. That was a good transition. I like that. Transition to Renna is a good transition.
Just any transition to Renna?
Any transition to Renna is a good transition. Also, that seems to be the end of the episode.
It is.
Do we get a zoom in on Shion's face?
No, I don't think we had the do.
What are they doing? Where's the budget going, guys?
Well, they spent it all so much in the first half of the season. They got none left.
You know, that's not a terribly inaccurate statement, I think. But that's they had a shoestring budget, and then they lost one of the shoes.
They lost one of the shoes to that sound design guy who's tapping on the board.
The shoe design guy was like, the sound design guy was like, let me just take that shoe and just take the string out, just tap it.
I'm always really curious when I watch shows like this, which have like very distinct moments of sound design and lack of sound design. If I could like pick the file out, put it into my computer and like reverse search to see if it's in my like sound design library.
See if it's in Creative Commons or something.
Yeah. I mean, also because a lot of like design studios will actually like sell their sound design libraries.
Yeah. No, I'm familiar.
And I have a lot of them. Probably more than I reasonably should have spent money on.
Yeah, for sure. It's fine. What are you gonna do? It is always funny when you're listening to a show. You're like, was that like the energy sword sound effect from Halo? Was that like the same sound, but it's used for like a door closing?
Yeah, I mean those ones
stuff like that.
Yeah, the ones I find more often is like background layers.
Sure.
Like even a couple of Ryukishi's background layers I've just found in my library. I'm trying to think what other ones have been like really distinct. I have the Lucasfilms sound libraries. Those are really fun. Lots of kind of unique ones in there, both layered and unlayered.
For sure.
Sound design's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, next time
next time